I was walking through my local park at around 7 p.m. I did this every day as a little walk on my way back from intense cardio session at my girl's house. However, this day behind a line of trees I heard rustling, thinking this was a squirrel, raccoon, fox or any forest animal. However, this changed when I started to hear grunting noises. This piqued my interest, so I decided to peek over, and what I saw made me look at life different. There was a male probably in his 30s laying face down in the leaves. He was moving around, but it wasn't natural movements. It was almost as if he was jittering but glitching like in movies or games. In this instant I got goosebumps and I had this strange feeling as if everything around me was going unclear and I was starting to zone out. I can't remember what happened after this, as I was found by a walking pedestrian passed out on the floor. I can't believe I still remember this, but every day it's as if everything on that day becomes more unclear by the day. That's terrifying. The guy was just gone? My dog at two places at the same time. 2 months ago I was visiting my parents. I was in the living room with my mom, and I was sitting on the floor, and my dog was laying in my lap, resting. My brother and dad were in the kitchen, 2 rooms away, but we could still see them, eating and chatting. After some time, my dog woke up and I started to play with her, and as I said her name, my dad said, "And what, when did she come back?" And we were confused and answered, "And what? Well, she was here all the time, and what?" Anyways, my brother and dad both swear that she was in the kitchen with them less than 5 minutes ago and that my dad let her outside. My brother said he saw it. But it isn't possible, because she was with me all the time, for at least 20 minutes, just laying in my lap, doing nothing. We still don't know what exactly happened, but they still swear she was there and they let her out in the yard. A glitch of my mom and myself. I'm not sure about the title, but I just want to share this, and sorry for my bad English. This happened around 7 p.m. and I was in the living room with my mom watching news. I was fixing the remote when I accidentally dropped a battery and it rolled to her, so I asked her if she can get it for me, but she didn't respond. I tried asking her again while I stood up, but she never looked at me, so maybe she was just focused watching. I got the battery and I jokingly stood in front of her to block the TV, but she never reacted. Her eyes are just straight to the TV. So I thought she was not in the mood, but then she started calling my name and she was looking at the kitchen and shouted, "And what? Could you please add my favorite seasoning on what you are cooking?" And what? I was like, WTF, is my mom joking around? And I heard a response in my voice, "And what? Okay. And what?" I heard utensils and pan noises, so I immediately ran to the kitchen to check, but I saw nothing. I went back and saw my mom still sitting on the same spot watching the news, and I asked her if she called me, but she said that she didn't. I told her everything. She told me that I was just fixing the remote and never dropped a battery, and she saw me ran to the kitchen with. Oh man, that's scary. That's wild. Sounds like some kind of timeline cross and you saw one of your alternate realities. It sounds to me like maybe 2 dimensions overlapping momentarily. Scary. I would cry probably. I disappeared once. Posted this in Creepypasta once, posting it here to see if anyone else can help me figure it out. Still bothers me endlessly. On a phone, so sorry for the format. So I moved out of my home state to one only a few states over to live with some friends and get a much needed change of scenery. It was a 3-bedroom apartment in a giant old house that had cut each floor into single apartments. It was really old, really beautiful, and really creepy. If you stand in the kitchen you can see directly into all 3 bedrooms, but not the bathroom. Layout is key to the story. Each room had a pretty large closet, as did the bathroom, but it wasn't a huge apartment by any means. If you open the front door, you're put directly into the kitchen. Straight in front of you, if you kept walking, would be my room. If you went slightly left, you'd be in the second bedroom, and if you turned directly left, you'd be in the third bedroom, which also led to the washroom and bathroom. We lived in the third apartment out of 4. Basement unit, first floor, second floor, and third floor. Every apartment had people living in it except the one above us. It was a very tall building rather than wide, if that makes sense. Anyways, so one night, the 2 friends I lived with went out to a bar. This was maybe the second night I was there, and although I wanted to explore my new town, I was exhausted and decided to stay in. They left around midnight and I went directly to bed. They arrived back home around 2:30 a.m., and texted me from outside saying they were back and to unlock the door. I texted back and replied that I would. I don't remember sending this text, but they showed me the next day to verify that I had. Anyways, I did not unlock the door, and since I'm epileptic and I wouldn't answer the door knocks, they grew increasingly concerned, thinking I had a seizure. One of my roommates finally managed to bust out the bottom panel of the old and very sturdy front door and reached up to the handle to unlock it. They opened the door and went directly into my room. I wasn't in bed. They started to panic more. I wasn't in the bathroom. So then they started looking everywhere 5'2" and 100 pounds female could possibly be. Under beds, in closets, under large clothes piles. Even in cabinets. They literally searched every single inch of the apartment, and met back in the kitchen after researching the rooms the second then third time. They were in the kitchen, hands in their heads and their backs turned to the second bedroom, discussing what to do next. Should they canvass the neighborhood once before calling the police? They were almost to tears when I walked up behind them and slightly to their left out of my room, rubbing the sleep from my eyes and dreamily asking, "What's wrong with you guys?" They both jumped, literally jumped almost out of their skins and started screaming, "Where have you been? Why didn't you answer when we knocked or were calling your name?" Confused, I told them that I didn't hear any knocks or anyone calling my name. I had just woken up because I heard talking outside of my bedroom and went to see how your night went. I told them, I think, I was asleep. In my bed, right? They told me the whole story from the text until the moment I literally scared the shit out of them. They checked my bedroom windows and all 3 were locked, and the screens were also locked and in no way tampered with. You couldn't get on the roof without removing the screens, a noisy and generally 2-person process which would have left the screens on the floor and they would have noticed those in their search. I couldn't remember sending the text. Or where I had been. I thought I had been in bed. I thought I had been asleep. I turned around to look in my room and realized my roommate had my blankets in his hand, confused. He had taken them off my bed during the search, afraid I was just curled up underneath them. All I remember is going to bed, and waking up to their talking quietly outside my door. I did remember one more key factor. The walk from my bed to where they were standing was maybe 10 footsteps. I remember when I was walking to them it seemed like I was walking down a very very long hallway. There isn't one there, and I could see light at the end of it but couldn't make them out until I reached out and touched them. That part scares me a lot. So where the fuck was I? To this day, about 3 years later, I still have no further memory of that night. I hadn't drank or anything before bed. Seriously, where the fuck was I? Curled up. Very similar thing happened to me. Bothers the hell out of me that I can't figure it out. Sober. Healthy. Nothing to lend itself to the situation, but, like you, had people looking for me in my home, and I just casually strolled up as if out of a dream. Kids claim glitch. My husband and I were getting ready to go somewhere recently, so we got the kids in the car, ages 2, 4, 6. We were about to leave when I realized I forgot something in the house, so I ran back inside for it. You can see the front door from the car. I got what I needed from inside and was headed to the front door when my husband comes in, also forgetting something. A moment later we exited the house together and got back in the car. The whole event took less than 2 minutes. Once in the car my 4-year-old asks Mommy, "Why were you and Daddy just standing in the front yard?" Confused I said we were not, we just ran in and came right back out. The 6-year-old says no. You and Daddy were standing by the front door really still for a long time. I asked how long, he goes I really long time. My 4-year-old asks again why were you not moving? I asked my 6-year-old where exactly we were and he replies after you came out of the house you both got still for a really long time. Why did you do that? My husband looks at me and I at him. Clearly we didn't do that. But the kids were adamant, and seemed a little on edge. My husband told them it was a glitch in the matrix. They looked confused but don't bring it up again. I can't stop thinking about it. Clearly my husband and I experienced nothing. Did that really happen? Why would it happen? Did you check the time to see how much had passed? Interesting. Mom saw me but I was asleep so this happened last night. I was in my room and accidentally fell asleep watching YouTube. I woke up to my mom shaking me and asking me over and over if I came down the hall and snuck into the kitchen. And no, I didn't. I was asleep and never came out of my room. She told me that when she was sitting on the couch, she vividly saw me tiptoeing down the hall and then running into the kitchen. She told me I said that I was getting a water bottle from the fridge. She said that she got up because there were no water bottles in the fridge, they were in the garage. And she needed to show me where they were. She told me she looked everywhere for me but I wasn't anywhere in the kitchen, the pantry, or in the entertainment room where my dad was working. She said she got anxious and walked down the hall to my room to see if I was in there. She said her heart dropped when she opened my door and saw that I was asleep on my bed. I'd give this as a so-called glitch but it's still freaking me out. Kinda scared I might be haunted or something lol. But yay, me and her are still talking about it, she's pretty serious that she saw me. Wow, that reminds me of a time where my ex-GF saw me in THR kitchen and walk outside to THR front porch. This was at 11 p.m. mind you and I was asleep downstairs and the basement. Pretty scary and this happened twice. I don't know a lot about astral projection but this scared me a lot. I hope this doesn't happen to you again. I traveled worlds in the shower. Last night, while I was in the shower, I was just cleaning my body and stuff, when I hear the shower upstairs turn on. I think oh that's normal then I get dizzy. I don't have any medical conditions. The shower suddenly turns off. It didn't sound like it turned off, it just sounded like everything froze. Suddenly, the water in my shower gets cooler, and I almost fall. I almost tripped over my shampoo which I never dropped. I get out of the shower, and it turns out it's been almost 45 minutes. I think. I didn't take a long shower at all. I also notice that there's another towel there, which wasn't there before. In confusion, I get dressed and leave, and I come out and my mother is watching TV, but she doesn't